So hi everyone, joining me today is Hina Solanki MBE. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
So you've had such an amazing journey and obviously been awarded the MBE quite recently. Is it the last year, I think?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I got it last year. It's published last year and I actually received it 3 weeks ago.
Amazing. Exciting. So let's talk about the journey to get to there and what you do and why you do it really.
Yeah, great. Okay. So I have a clinic and I do permanent cosmetics and medical scar camouflage. It's one of the sides of the work I do. And I've been doing that for the last 17 years. How I actually got into it is falling ill myself. So it's unfortunate. I was out with a friend. It was a lovely summer's day, sitting in the garden. Sun was beaming down on me. It was absolutely beautiful. I could feel my scalp burning and I ignored it. And I just continued to enjoy the afternoon with my friend. We're sipping tea, believe it or not, nothing stronger. But
Nothing
later
wrong
that
with a good
day,
cup of tea.
exactly. But later on that evening, I did feel a little bit ill. I, just felt a bit headachy and just a bit, nauseous like one does with slight mild sunburn or sunstroke. But then what happened a couple of days later and consequently a few weeks later is my hair started falling out. My eyelashes
Gosh.
started falling out. It was absolutely devastating. It was all quite quick. I'm laughing now because because it's quite funny watching these piles of hair everywhere. That's literally what it was like. You'd be in the car and there's hair. It's like on the pillow, there's hair. And no, it's not funny at all because especially if somebody's going through that. When you have suffered from something like that, it's absolute soul destroying. Your hair
Mm.
is everything. So I was going through a little stage and, got it treated, etc. Long story forward, thankfully it all grew back. So that was amazing. The hair fell out, but also went really white in a certain area. So
Okay.
thanks to L'Oreal, that's all sorted now as well. So so a bit of hair dye and all my hair's back, my eyelashes, eyebrows. But it did lead me into the industry because when I lost my eyelashes and eyebrows, I typically looked like somebody who was going through chemotherapy. I looked tired, I looked aged, and as a single mother of two children, not young but fairly young, I didn't want to look like that, and it really knocked
Mm.
my confidence massively. So I looked into treatments and came across eyebrow tattooing and cosmetic tattooing. So I went ahead, had it done. It completely blew me away. I was so just taken back by it and overwhelmed from the result. From like a couple of hours treatment, my confidence was rock bottom and just completely elevated pretty quickly. And, I just thought at the time when I was having the treatment done, it was obviously a training school as well. So the practitioner did say, would you mind if I speak to the student? I suppose a potential student. I said, no, fine, go ahead. And obviously she's talking to her and I'm absorbing all that and thinking, whatever, that's fine. But of course, it did go into my subconscious mind because that evening, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I just thought, you know what? This is amazing to do this for
Mm.
people who feel, you feel really low and to just build their confidence up just like that. I thought that's amazing. I want to do that. So it's overnight. Next day, inquired, and it just went on from there, really. I started obviously from the bottom, like one does. I'd only just left Bloomberg at that time and opened up a mortgage company. But I decided, you know what, that wasn't my passion. That's not what I wanted to do. I had to do this. So shut everything down, went ahead with my training, quite a lot of training. 2 years later, did medical training. And then I
Yeah.
started to get quite recognised as a person in the UK for being able to treat people with scars. So my aim goal was then to treat people with scars. So this could be burns, self-harmers, accident scars, surgery scars, whatever it is, I was able to help camouflage these scars for them. So for years, for 17 years, I've really been working with people on the outside, building their confidence aesthetically, gained quite a lot of interest. Was just before COVID, I was going to do a collaboration, massive collaboration. I'm not allowed to say the name, but you can figure it out, with one of the largest beauty companies in the world. So that was phenomenal. That was quite an experience. Unfortunately, it didn't go ahead because of the funding and everything after lockdown, but it was an amazing experience. And just for me to have even been recognized on this three-way call from New York, France, it was just incredible for me to even be there. I did write a book as well on the subject, Permanent Makeup Guide, which was the only book at that time in the UK on
Wow.
such a subject. So I then got nominated for an MBE, and it's quite surreal at the time. Even when I actually got the MBE last year when it's published, I never really felt like I'd got an MBE until 3 weeks ago, when I was really fortunate and Prince William awarded it to me. It was just surreal. It's unbelievable. But in the last 3 years, I decided I've been working on people so long on the outside, which is amazing. And I would never give it up totally. I think I'd have to keep my hands in there until I fully train somebody to be able to do what I do. So if anybody's listening, I will mentor you. I will teach you. We need
There's
more
an
people who can.
opportunity.
Yeah, I really want people. There's not enough. I've tried. It's just got to be the right person. And then all my tips and tricks are yours to go ahead. But I really started working when you work with people on the outside for so long, you start working with them on the inside as well. It's a very natural
Absolutely.
thing that happens in that magical chair. People start speaking about things. Sometimes treatments can go on for hours. So you get close and you start talking about things. So I then started to go into the life coaching and mindset thing and really develop there. Trained with, did one of Tony Robbins' courses, became a master human needs coach. I knew I wanted to touch on corporates because I wanted to bring some mindset well-being into corporates. And I think that's where it's really needed, especially in them type of environments where they're heavy environments sometimes. I thought, you know what? And that's what I experienced at Bloomberg as well. I love Bloomberg. It was amazing, but I know there was a different kind of underlying thing going on. And I thought, I'm going to try and bring that into there. So I then did a course with LSE as well, London School of Economics for Leadership and Mentorship, just to give me that angle as well. So that's kind of what I do now. So I do life coaching and I do motivational speaking. But there is another side to it, which I know you're probably dying to touch on, is I'm a healer and clearer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. And so how did that transition happen? Or is it something you've always done naturally?
It's from one of my mentors. So I have quite a few different mentors for different areas of my life, like one should, because that's the fastest way you'll ever get to where you want to be.
100%.
And we can touch on that as well, because that's also one of the main reasons why I do this, because it took me far too long, but we'll touch on that in a minute. But so yeah, the energy work is something that I have always absolutely loved and just been in touch with all my life. 7, probably 8 years ago now, I wrote a book called Dance for the Universe, which was, based on energy and frequencies and how to really get back in line, align yourself with life and to make things easier for yourself. So it goes through quite a lot of analogies on how I got through a very dark period, a dark marriage. It was abusive marriage, how I came out of that and kind of back into the light, I suppose. And I really wanted to share those experiences with anyone who may be going through that, to help them through them, because it's really difficult when you're going through things to be able to see the light. But it's just tiny little switches we can do in the way we think, our thought forms, that we can project a bit of a more positive future.
Yeah. And do you know what, it's so important, but I love where you got to with the start of your journey. So people often think of cosmetic surgery as for people who are egotistical, narcissistic, they want to look beautiful. But I think what's touching about what you're doing is how we look externally is important for that confidence, because we do get judged. We all judge. And to be able to offer a way of going, yeah, I know you've had some horrendous experiences, but here I can make it slightly better for you.
Yeah.
And then once the outside is slightly more healed, like you say, you can then heal from the inside. And people forget that sometimes you have to do it that way around.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's exactly what I was written in one of the articles when I think it's the Parliamentary Review interviewed me for leader in the industry. And that's exactly how they wrote it, actually, that sometimes you need to heal when with the healing from the outside, you're actually healing on the inside as well. So, yeah, it's just a different approach. And you know what, I'm really glad you touched on that about people viewing things like this, because sometimes people think of these treatments as, some of these treatments have been life-saving. For some people, people are living with scars on their body, even self-harm scars. Breast reconstruction is another thing that I do, which is massive. It's not something that they wanted the cosmetic surgery for, but they needed it in order to get back to where they were. So it's really just helping people to get back to where they were.
I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good about yourself.
Oh,
And we again, as a society, we judge this, as being selfish, as being self-involved. But at a base level, and you talk about human needs, like we all want to feel loved, we want to feel part of communities, we want to feel growth. And whether or not we want to admit this, we live in a world where having differences can exclude you from a community
yes.
or can make you self-exclude from a community because you're fearing of fitting in. So that's why I think what you do is absolutely wonderful, because you're giving people a way to reaccess the world around them.
Yeah, no, totally. That was definitely my goal. When I experienced that procedure myself, honestly, it just hit me so much in my heart. So I just thought, I really was feeling low. Your confidence, for me, my hair is everything. I don't do much else, but my hair is everything. And then for that to be dropping out, it's like, oh, what do I do? So it was such a massive knock on my confidence, and I just kind of come out not long time ago from a bad relationship, so my confidence wasn't there anyway, to be honest. So that was just an added kind of like kick in the whatever. But so yeah, no, it totally blew me away, and I thought this difference it makes to people instantly. It's such a quick fix as well, couple of hours treatment, and you're feeling a bit more normal again, a bit more just how you may used to have felt. And that was really important for me. That was really important for me to be able to help other people to do that.
That's great. And I
But
think
yeah,
what I love as well is you're normalizing letting yourself feel good about yourself. Again, there's no, we get secondary guilt. We judge ourselves so badly. But what you're doing here is going, it's okay to want to feel differently. And if this helps you feel better, then there's nothing wrong with that, because there is
yes,
nothing wrong with that.
yes,
And with the breadth of sort of therapies and holistic approaches out there, I know that some people get very hung up on using the right approach and using the right method, and it has to be certified in this way or that way. And I'm very much a case of, if it's right for the person, if it makes them feel better, then it's the right thing for them. It doesn't have
yeah,
to have a label, or it
yeah,
doesn't have to have an elaborate framework. It is,
yeah,
what does that individual need at that point in time? And what you're doing is giving them what they need at that point in time.
yeah, totally. And anyway, who's to say what's right and wrong?
Absolutely. We all have opinions. We're all
Yeah,
entitled to opinions, so let's just keep them to ourselves sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So with your energy work, then let's talk about that a bit more, because again, people often think of energy work as a bit woo, but what I find fascinating is actually it's science, because we are all energy. We are, if you go back to the basic rules of thermodynamics, we are all energy, no matter what you say. So talk about a bit how you apply it, and what you use it for.
yeah, no, totally. Thank you for saying that, because absolutely, as Maria Forley says, it's not science fiction, it's science facts, it's neuroplasticity, or neuroscience. So absolutely, energy is everything, and it's science. It's not woo-woo at all, in fact. It's factual. So what I do is I work with clients, and it ranges from absolutely anything, by the way, from winning court cases to breakups to grieving to anything you can think of, and all age groups as well. And it's about aligning their energy. So I can tap into their energy and see where they're at. Literally, I can tell them what percentage they're at in whatever they're doing, and then we align it. So what I would do is then clear blockages that are in there, and then maybe some programs, clear those, and then realign them, readjust them.
Wonderful. I do a lot of work with the subconscious, and I don't
Lovely.
know about you, but I find myself having to go back to clear things again, because either I pick stuff up from outway. So one really easy one that I've been doing with another lady was around money blockages, and being open to money and things like that, because it's very important. And I can clear myself from one day going, I'm totally open to getting money. The next day, I've got resistance again. So I have to do it again. And I think
Yeah.
people underestimate the fact that you have your own energy, but you also pick up energy from those around you. And that can, again, affect your ways of working and your thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So literally I'll clear myself in the morning because I've slept, so I'm asleep. My conscious is now not aware, so things can come into your subconscious. So I have to clear myself. If I go out, even to the shops, wherever, I have to come back and clear myself because I've now got new attachments. So I'm forever clearing myself. And that's totally it. But sometimes with those And those blockages, sometimes they're not in your subconscious, and they might be even deeper into your cellular DNA. And that's where I dig deep. So I go straight into DNA, cellular, things that have been, hereditary, ancestors, ancestral. We can clear all that as well.
That again is really important. I don't do it at the level you do, but absolutely, what I call the generational trauma is a real
Yes.
thing.
Oh,
And
it's definitely a real thing.
there's so much of it, anything from, I mean, particularly with the where we've grown up. So we've grown up in basically a relatively time of peace. I know it doesn't feel like it, but in comparison to previous centuries, there's a lot fewer wars in the world than they are now. But we have grandparents, parents, great grandparents who experienced the world wars, who experienced other wars. And that generational trauma is passed down, and how it manifests itself, how it represents itself, it's unique to each person. So
Yes.
having someone like yourself who can go in and understand that, but also help people to remove it I think it's a really undervalued skill.
Mm. It is. You touched on something really important there, that obviously you don't do what I do, but actually every level is important. So I work with that level. So sometimes, somebody's needs something else at subconscious level, I'll say, go and have Reiki or go and see a different type of therapist, because I can do that, but it's not what I'm there for. So I'll do the dig deep. But each level needs to be cleared also.
Absolutely.
So, sometimes our subconscious, because our negative thought forms are obviously creating our destiny. So we want to clear that. And that's often in our subconscious. So that's also very, very important. So what you're doing is really important, as well.
Well, I think I always think it's collaborate, not collaborate, don't compete, because
Yeah,
we have
100%.
different skills, we have different approaches.
Yes.
And it's the unity, it's the combination that makes it most effective.
Exactly. As long as we're all going in the right direction of the light and helping people heal and feel amazing, then what else is there? There's nothing more.
Absolutely. No, love that. But
Yeah.
actually, there is more. What is it going to be next for you? Because you never stop, right? So
I
where are you taking
don't.
everything next?
I don't stop. You're so right. It's like somebody once said to me, you actually create things, don't you? And I literally do. So, and I always talk about goals, our goals. Sometimes we have our goals and we might, for the sake of the podcast, I'm just holding something up and moving the object further and further. Because as we start getting close to that object, I'm naturally going to move it away further or create something else in there to make it a bit more spicy and move it away. So it becomes more challenging and fun. So yeah, no, I don't ever stop. I would like to hope that I can be able to write my third book next year. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I do have what's really important for me now is to be able to share this healing and start teaching and helping people to help themselves. So I will later in the next couple of months be coming out with Manifesting Secrets. And that is going to help people. It's going to be like a little Bible that you'll just keep referring to, because believe it or not, even it's something that I might have to reflect to now and again, because sometimes we go through our paths and when you actually literally forget a few little tools and skills that you think, hold on, I need to just step back a bit and go through this action, and then to clear blockages or anything that's getting in the way. And Manifesting Secrets will have about 12 modules. It's an online program, things like sort of aligning your identity, because that's what I want to touch on when you talked about money earlier. When you talked about money blockages, is really connected to ancestors as well. So generational trauma, and they have a notion and thinking in those days is very narrow-minded to their outlook on money and people. I don't want to say rich, but living in a financial abundance, let's say. Their outlook on that was very different. So it's almost like, no, you can't do that. And you can't do that. So that identity also has been passed down. So it's really important for one to then make their own identity match their actual goals, because I would say about 70% of people's identity doesn't actually even match their goals. So that's in the online program as well, and things like quantum jumping and just trying to get to where you want to get to quicker and a bit more easily. And I think the most important thing in life as well is just to be in harmony, because when you're in harmony and in sync and in flow with frequency and energies, your life just is so much simpler. I mean, there could be absolutely chaos going around you, but you almost become a bit more hippie-like, don't you? And you just kind of flow through it. And it's like, okay, all right, we'll get through this. Let's see, let's see what we can do. Let's see what needs to be done. Opposed to like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. So it's just slowing right down, take a deep breath, absorb everything that's going on around you and then reflect.
I think it's a really important lesson, because also when you're in the thick of it, if you even just take one step back, that can completely shift your perspective of what you're dealing with. But it's remembering to take that step back, or even take the step back before you get there. And with the world we live in now, with constant data being thrown at us, and I think like you, I grew up without computers. I didn't get them until I started university. It wasn't a normal thing. It was still really new. And I'm really grateful for that childhood of not having computers. But at the same time, I'm really grateful to have them now, because I can talk to you like this. I can do my work from whenever I want to. But it is the balance of knowing how to control what's going into your space and being aware of how that affects you. And for me, it's not about conspiracy theories. It's not about left versus right or anything. It's just about, what do I need to do, as you say, to be in that space, to hold that flow, that energy. For me personally, it is limiting the time I spend online. It is controlling how I engage with social media. I need these things. I need them for my business. I need them for connections.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't own me. And I think that's where we don't realize how these things eat into our time, and how they, as you say, they stop our flow. They stop us from working so well, because we get sucked into someone else's energy or something else's energy, and it clutters our mind.
Yes.
Taking that step back.
Yeah, totally. I think it's really important. That's another really good point you've made. So what could one do in that circumstance? Maybe even just 5-10 minutes. It's really important. I'm not going to say meditate, because I'm not for meditating fully. Okay, I'm going to find it difficult just to sit there, because it's just not me. So meditation, what does that even mean? I mean, it's just coming within and just becoming one. Yeah, bringing back your awareness to yourself. So you could do that on walks. You could do that on anything. Any time you wish. You could be in a queue and just quickly bring yourself back to yourself. How could you do that? I would then visualize my hand on my heart, because I want to come out of my head into my heart. So come out of my head, come into my heart, and then just take deep breaths and just reconnect with yourself. Yeah. And that kind of thing, it gets distorted when we're around so much tech and radionics and things that come and interfere into our energy. These are all energy. So other energies also interfere with our energy. So when you understand that they're interferences, and how do you come away from them and clear yourself, or just have that space around you without that interference, I think that's when you can start get into the flow of things.
Absolutely love that. One of the ones I like to tell people is I used to do a lot of martial arts.
Oh, brilliant.
And people think, again, martial arts, beat people up, Karate Kid.
No.
But there's so much around martial arts, around the form, around the technique, around the katas. And for me, like Tai Chi or even karate, you have these movements that are all about being in flow. They're about
it's all energy.
Focusing on the present. It's all energy.
Yeah.
And so when I find people, to your point, who can't always sit still and meditate, well, go for a walk or do a kata, do a dance. It's just about how you find that space where you are centered and present with yourself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be sitting, it can be moving. And people forget that, I think.
Yeah, totally. No, that's really lovely. That's a really lovely way of saying it as well. Yeah, totally. Martial arts, that's interesting.
It's another story for another day.
Okay.
No, I think for me, and one of the things, you'll know this, you change your state and you very quickly change your mood. And growing up, for me, changing my state ended up being dancing and martial arts, which is great. But now that I'm older, my hip's a bit dodgy, it's going for a walk in the forest. It's whatever it means for you. But I think, again, what I love about the work you're doing and what people like us do is it's challenging the norm of what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable. There isn't one size fits all. There are so many ways that you can focus on yourself, be kind to yourself, be with yourself. And it doesn't mean being in a dark room, not talking to anybody and trying to focus on your innards. It can be going outside into the sun. That's just as good.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's it. Spot on. I think that's it. Just have that time to reflect, just go inwards and just enjoy yourself, love yourself, give yourself a hug, You know, you can just visualize giving yourself a hug, big hug, and just, you know, pure love into yourself.
Yeah, which people don't like doing. And you know, we're taught that self-love is kind of something that only selfish people do. But I always go back to, if you want to heal others, you have to heal yourself first. If you want to love
That's
others, you have
right.
to love yourself first.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's right, because hurt people as well. So it's really
Yeah,
important to be healed and whole.
definitely. Now, you said to talk about your mentors a lot and how, and I know you've got quite a few, and I know we share some in common.
Yes.
What do you find? Firstly, obviously you have different ones. Let's talk about why you have different mentors and why you started doing that.
Different areas of my life. So different businesses, different people have different approaches. I mean, we share a mentor, and then I've got different mentors for different sides of the business where their specialities lie. Totally. I also, with my motivational speaking, I want to try to go into Asia. I love Singapore. I don't know why. I just love
Oh, I love
Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah, I love Singapore. I love South Korea. So, for
Yeah.
me to be able to touch and get my feet into there, I need different mentors slightly overseas to try and help me get into there. But my spiritual mentor. But the thing with mentors for me is that I really want to share this, and this is also one of the main reasons that I always knew I'd go into. I've always done mentoring in some shape or form, whether it be to do with the other business or to help people build businesses. But for people to just find that confidence and find themselves again, for me, it took me really long. It took about 15 years, if not more. What happened is, because of abusive marriage, I have two amazing sons, but I became very closed and I didn't trust anybody. So I did trust people, but not to the extent that I'd let them in my
Yeah.
circle. And my circle was me and my two sons. And that's not very healthy or very good. So it took me a very long time to be able to reach out and get help. And just starting my businesses then, it would have really taken me to the place that I wanted to be a lot quicker. I mean, I'm still reaching my goals, but I'm very much well on to the way where I want to be. But I think for anybody who's listening to this, please get yourself a mentor, coach, just anybody who can help you forward. It's the best thing you can do for yourself, especially when you've been through something, because you become very closed off. You don't want to talk to anybody. You're almost like, I don't trust them. And what have they got to say? And please just find the right person, anyone that you find that bond with. Make sure you bond with them first. You've got to have a really good relationship. And then they should be able to help you take you to your goals a lot quicker than 15 years that it took me.
So you're very right. I think having different mentors for different things is really important. One thing I just throw back at you is, sometimes we arrive at these things when we're ready for it.
It's true.
So you've done amazingly well, and you might have taken 15 years to get where you are now, but you've packed so much into those 15 years, really.
I have. And you're right. I was actually healing as well. During that period, I was healing massively. So I need that space, but maybe just not so long.
If only. I mean, but that's the thing, is that not everyone does need that space, but
Yeah.
sometimes we take a long time to get there anyway.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and the great thing about mentors is they do shortcut the process because they have been there. And
That's
whether
it.
it is spiritually, physically, business, whatever it is, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to go it alone. And that's the power of mentoring.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you are right, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be so passionate about making sure that I help other people reach those goals if I hadn't gone through that myself. So everything happens for a reason, 100%.
But I think people also have to, when you're living it, it doesn't always feel that way. And I think that we forget that most pain is temporary. It just feels like it when you're living it. It feels like it's endless.
Yeah.
But there are obviously always exceptions, but pain is a short-term experience for most people. It can be a very long-term, short-term experience, but there's always an end. And find the people to help you get through that, to go through to get to that point where you no longer have that pain, whatever the pain represents. Mentors can help you do that again.
Yes,
and
yeah, absolutely.
Finding the right one for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're breaking into Singapore, which again I love, and also South Korea. I also love. I'm going to start stalking you, clearly, just so I can go to these places again. Have you got a big mission in mind? Is it just to heal as many people as you can? Is there something more specific?
It is. So the thing is I love doing my one-to-ones. I absolutely love doing the one-to-ones, but that's going to take me ages, isn't it, to reach people? So I've got to do one-to-many. So how can I do this? I can do this through motivational speaking. I can talk about energy. I can talk about frequency. I can talk about aligning ourselves. Can talk about being happy, wholesome, and joyful. I can talk about all these things and share them. How do we get there? I can share tools. I want to share as much as I can with people to heal themselves. And how can I do that? I think I'm going to have to do that through speaking, through online programs, reach more. Obviously, I do once a week, I do free sound baths, which I offer via Zoom. So that's just something I do. And I obviously don't advertise it. So it's just word of mouth. So whoever finds out, they can jump on. But there's got to be more. There's got to be more that I'd like to do. And that's really it.
Perfect. Amazing. And if people want to come and find you, where can they find you?
Instagram, LinkedIn, of course, Hina Solanki 1 on Instagram and Hina Solanki MBE on LinkedIn.
Perfect. I will put all those notes in the show notes.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts for anybody listening? Any sort of last thing you want to really get out there?
Yeah. Never stop believing in yourself. Don't let anybody come in your way or crush your path or turn that light off. You keep shining and you keep going.
Amazing. Hina, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.